So the thing about food service is that
That's amazing.
if you work enough food service, then you watch like Kitchen Nightmares. No matter how much you hated food service, you're going to be sitting there watching Kitchen Nightmares. And you're going to be watching everything fall apart, and Gordon's yelling at everyone, and it's going to cross your mind. You're just going to be like, I could handle that. I would have kept up. I would have kept up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, briefly, so, back, Dan, to the Kitchen Nightmares. I don't know where people would find this, though I'm sure you have options. But I highly recommend that people watch the very short, because it's a UK show, UK version of Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah, it's so different
because it's a totally different show. They don't cast the restaurateurs based on level of madness, and Gordon barely yells. He really does desperately want to help them, and they're usually more receptive. He will yell at them if they're being profoundly stupid.
Sure.
Every episode, for whatever reason, must include a shot of him shirtless while he's changing into his chef whites, but generally it's a much more like positive and genuine and supportive show.
He takes one of the chefs like down to the fish market and like teaches him how to price.
Gordon Ramsay appears shirtless because it's in his rider.
Kathleen, thank you for this information.
I was expecting that. Sorry.
In the UK way, he takes one of the so this chef he's like 19, drop out, and Gordon like walks him through like, here's how you price a meal, takes him down to the fish market and like teaches him to haggle. And it's like, you're not just like some guy coming down to get like a haddock to bring home. You're buying for a restaurant. You're buying in bulk, and you're buying consistently. So you want to form a relationship with these guys and get a deal because they know that you're going to be coming back next week.
That was great. I love that one. I also love the one where he's like, all right, you're going to make broccoli soup. Here's a tray with like 24 possible ingredients. Show me the best that you can do. And then the guy's like, okay, and does all sorts of stuff. And he's like, okay, you know what? This is good. All right, it's okay. Here's the ingredients you need. Broccoli. And then he shows the guy how to make a delicious broccoli soup without all the faff. He's like, you don't need any of that. You just need salt. It was really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever see Hotel Hell?
Yes, and I love Hotel Hell.
I watched it live originally when it was on Fox, and they would like blur everything out. So I just thought that's what the show was. I'm showing my partner Tara, like, oh, you have to watch this really dumb show with me. It is not censored on Hulu.
No, it's not.
So like, Naked Gordon Ramsay is just part of that show, and I was like, how is this a thing?
He just
I was
goes
shocked.
for it. He really do.
Hey,
he knows.
He there probably are a lot of thirsty Gordon fans out there.
There's like some 36 to 44-year-old mothers in their kitchens watching these shows going, Gormsey ramp.
He could get the business.
I would never complain about unmotivated nudity in a show, but that was so
it's out of nowhere. Yeah. Especially because it's like documentary.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you went out of your way to do this.
Yeah. It's always like the episode has to stop so Gordon can disrobe in full view of the camera crew. It is so.
It's Hotel.
The show is good though.
Yeah.
The show is really good. He goes to like fix hotels, like the food and the rooms and stuff.
He focuses on the food because like that's his area of expertise, but it doesn't take a genius to know like, boy, you should really change these sheets once.
Yeah. It's always like bed bugs are bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
it it does suffer a little from the reality TV thing of like, it's like, well, they
Yeah.
can't actually fix the problems, so like they go in and they're doing like the tour and they're talking with the the owners, and as a viewer you're like, oh, this person is actually just like ill, and they need like help like
need
they're,
to have
they're
this
a,
business
they need
taken
an
away from them.
intervention. They need this taken away from them. Like they are a risk to people, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are the producers gonna do? It's like, what if we reupholster the chairs?
I fixed that meatloaf recipe.
My favorite one for Hotel Hell is I like to find the inconsistencies because it is an American show, I think, or it was supposed to be aired in
Yeah.
America.
It
So
was.
they actually make it look worse than it is a lot of the time. So my favorite thing, if you go back and watch it, there are episodes where they've actually, like, there's a specific one that I can think of right now, and it's a tower where the employees go to smoke and there's a bunch of dead flies in it. Sorry, chat. But the pile of dead flies isn't there while they're recording. They scoop them up and put them there.
What?
It's not there. The close up, when you look at the wide shot, they're not there. And then they go into the close up and there's just a pile of them. And I'm like, I got you. You think I'm watching. So I love going back and finding all the ways that they made it look worse for TV. It's still
Yeah.
bad. All those flies
yeah.
were still there.
Oh yeah.
Just now they're in a pile.
Collected.
Yeah.
My favorite part about any episode of Kitchen Nightmares is like the server comes out, and he's just the nicest. He's like, "Hey,
What do you want?"
how's it going? What's going on? What's the deal with this place?" And the server's like, "Everything is terrible." And he's like, "It's okay. We'll take care." He's super nice to the servers who like know that the place is bust, and they're trying to be honest with him.
When they talk with the like former staff, and it's like now that you've seen how we fix things up, like, would you come back to work here? And they're just like, no, because he's still here, and I know that the moment that you walk away, this is gonna fall apart. And
Yeah.
Gore's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, thank you for your input.
I will say though that I've seen a bunch of like articles, because this is good for clicks, of like what's happened to to restaurants after they're on Kitchen Nightmares, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like 66% of
yeah.
restaurants on Kitchen Nightmares still fail, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's an interesting way of framing it, because 100% of restaurants that are on Kitchen Nightmares
Would
were
have failed.
going to fail.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Gordon Ramsay managed to save a third of those businesses.
Yeah, there's a 30% success rate, you know?
Yeah, not
There's
bad.
a 30% like rate where they just don't keep the changes anyway. They're like, they reverted immediately. He
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
a terrible boss again.
Yeah.
The fun sort of one of the odd things is like, okay, as a viewer and critic, it's really easy and not incorrect to look at the way that these shows escalate and go like, hey, that's like kind of manipulative. Maybe is this like a good thing for society? ? I don't know. But there are examples of when shows like didn't escalate. Extreme Makeover Home Edition had
God.
trouble in its
Okay.
early
Before-
That
season.
No,
Boss?
before we get into this, because this is a whole thing. Chat, there's less than 15 minutes left on that giveaway, so if you want to get in now. Yellow Jacket Comics and Games bundle, $7.27, or multiples thereof. Give you entries to try to win lots of cool stuff, and we're like 1.5k away from a desert buck, which that's pretty sick. Now,
Pretty sick.
So in the early seasons of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, they hadn't quite found their footing yet.
Hey,
and
welcome,
they were
Raiders.
clearly
thank you for the raid.
hello.
Sorry, actually, real quick, just because it's a bunch of folks coming in from watching a Magic stream. We have a giveaway going right now, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, for another 14 minutes for a bunch of stuff from our local LGS, Yellow Jacket, which is a copy of Finspan, but also
Also,
3 Dragonstorm Tarkir collector boosters,
And
Tarkir bundle,
and
a bunch of basically what amounts to a Magic bundle, but this time it's Lorcana.
and
With Bolt.
and a binder to keep them all in.
And
And
$7.27.
appreciation.
Or multiples thereof.
And there's another big magic giveaway courtesy Wizards of the Coast coming later in tonight's shift.
Yes.
Okay, you're talking
So,
about Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
they hadn't quite found their footing, and of course, like the episodes aren't like aired in the order that they were physically recorded. And the producers learned a lesson about like narrative escalation, because they wound up showing one of their first like wacky sort of makeovers, and then the next week was just kind of like this family who, you know, okay, so 1 week it's like 2 of the kids have cancer, mom is also dying, dad only has 1 arm, you know, it's just like this like extreme of like people in need, right? Like it's this whole story that's just like wildly out there. And then the next week they roll up on this family that's like, yeah, the house is just kind of dated, it's a little old, and it had kind of, you know, it cost a bunch to like fix it up. And they're like, okay, so like what's wrong here? And it's like, well, we don't like the color of the carpets.
Oh my god.
And it's like, and it's a very normal, ordinary, there's no extremes, there's no real narrative, and you're like, so this is why they milk the drama, and why they sort applicants for like, you know, why they're fishing for like extreme stories. It's like, this isn't a very good hour of television.
No.
This
I
is just
didn't like
kind
the
of
carpet.
normal people get paint.
It's
You know what
funny.
is very, very cool? That our first, what is it, $100,000 is going to be matched or something like
Oh
that?
yes, donation matched. I forgot to mention that to the new viewers coming in from that raid.
Graham knows more. Take it away.
That we have an anonymous, as they have requested to be referred to as, benefactor who is donation matching the first $100,000 that we raise in this 24 hours that we are 4 hours underway of.
So your $5 could become $10, and it's in Canadian. So really, your $3 could become $5, which becomes $10.
That's
We-
value.
Before we, I don't know, can move off or continue this topic, just what a weird thing that there was a different, much worse, much shorter lived show that was Extreme Makeover, that was People.
Oh, I liked Extreme
Yeah.
Makeover. That
And
was
then-
so
then they
Yeah,
messed
were
that
like-
was
up.
the actual like original show.
Yeah, and then they were like, what if this for houses? And for
Yeah.
whatever reason, they called it Extreme Makeover Home Edition,
yeah.
rather than any other name.
Sometimes you just phone it in, Graham.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fair.
Naming is hard sometimes
Yeah.
when you're a C-suiter.
Oh yeah, and somebody said that that the show came in. Oh yeah, and like busted up. Yeah, no, the show was actually bad, and the makeovers were terrible, and a lot of them were like, no, a lot of them were just visually nonsense. You're watching the episode, and it's like, I covered this room in straw, and it's like, I don't want a room covered in straw.
That was an infamous episode of Trading Spaces.
Oh, that was Trading Spaces, right?
because I
Right,
remember
similar
watching it
but
with my
different.
parents, all of us horrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are bad, but can we talk about wife swap? 'Cause that was
I forgot about wife
Right?
swap. Oh no!
Dark-sided.
Yeah.
I'm a god
like
warrior.
who pitched that? And everyone's like, "Yep, that'll work."
God, we've grown in so many ways. We've just
Coming to History Channel in 2026, The Chair.
Do you know what we're
Wife swap reloaded.
Wife swap reloaded.
we are watching Last One Laughing, I believe
yeah.
it's called. Have you heard or
Yes.
seen
Yeah.
that?
Last one laughing.
It's
It's
good.
It's very, very funny, and like in a way that I didn't expect it to be funny. I thought about asking if we could do that bit on the show and went, that's not funny. We're all just going to sit here quietly.
That's that's the problem with the show is that the conceit is it's a bunch of comedians and they have to try to make each other laugh without laughing, and so fundamentally you're watching a bunch of people not laugh.
Not laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like it might not be great, but it's honestly they've done
quite
so
good.
many regional versions of it. The Canadian one was pretty good because it had Colin Mockery and Tom Green among others.
Quite good.